The first three Mega Man games, despite being really poorly made, set a precedent for the rest of the series that the soundtracks were always going to be good. And Mega Man 4 is no exception. They're all perfectly composed and perfectly implemented into the game. Which is really impressive because when you consider that it has the NES timbre, like the old 8-bit style, you would expect the music to get annoying at some point, but that just doesn't happen. It can be accomplished either by having really, really catchy songs or by having a lot of music in the game. And Mega Man 4 isn't lazy, it does both. Although the game's soundtrack does include some of the jingles that it plays throughout the game for atmospheric value, which does make listening to the soundtrack as an album awkward in some parts. As in the middle of listening to lengthy and catchy songs, you then just hear...
What the hell is that?
But keep in mind that these jingles are still very important to the overall tone and presentation of the game. Like the one that I just played, for example, hypes you up as you're infiltrating a castle, while also trying to make it seem like an intimidating and dangerous place, which the game then delivers on because Mega Man is notoriously difficult. Something that I do find interesting is the fact that each of the castle stage themes is used twice in the game, while the Robot Master stage themes are only used once. Although I think that's okay in the case of the castle stages, because they're similarly themed and also the developers didn't have an infinite amount of money to make a song for every individual level. Plus, they're still catchy and fit the stages, and really every song in the game fits where it's used perfectly. Before you even start the game, you have this intro with really slow music that sounds really melancholic, as if it's trying to reminisce on past times that were much better than the current ones. And it does this while explaining Mega Man's backstory, which up until this point had not been shown in the games. And Mega Man was originally a peaceful robot built in what was a time of peace, so having that be the tone of the song fits perfectly. Then, as we get to the part of the intro that explains how Mega Man became Mega Man, there's no music at all, which causes suspense and build-up. Even though music is associated with sound, silence is just as important, even if they're complete opposites. And the atmosphere of this cutscene would not work at all if there was music playing during this segment. It then returns with a much faster tempo and a much more upbeat tone, meant to get you excited as the context for Mega Man 4's story specifically appears on the screen, getting players reading it excited for the adventure they're about to go on. A tone which is also perfectly emphasized by Mega Man standing on a train.
Oh, come on! You gotta admit this is cool!
The music in the title screen also starts off with a couple of melancholic sounding notes before then transitioning into an energetic sounding song once again to make the players excited about this game. And the stage select screen is catchy and memorable, but also very short, most likely because many players will just select a stage very quickly instead of hovering on the screen. Now, the music that's most important for the game to get right is the stage themes, because that's where most players will spend most of their time playing the game. Which is no coincidence. The stage themes are, in my opinion, the best part of the game's soundtrack. I especially like how most of them have some sort of lead-in, because Mega Man doesn't instantly appear on screen when you start a stage. My favorite of which having to be...
It was perfect. Perfect.
Toadman's music and stage work off of each other perfectly. This is Mega Man at its best right here. You going through this grimy sewer with this slightly off-sounding, catchy tune in the background. It is genuinely perfection. It's my favorite song in the entire game. I especially like how some of the lines of music harmonize at this particular point, although the beat remains the same. I know it's all synthesized, so there aren't a bunch of instruments being played, but it manages to be polyphonic anyway because there's so much going on different layers in the song. So many different melodies playing at the same time. And I think this plays a huge part in why Mega Man's soundtracks are so catchy and memorable, there's always something new to notice when you listen to one of the songs, and I really appreciate that. Although, I should talk about the other stage themes, so here's them from worst to best in my opinion and why. Not as memorable as the other songs in the game, less catchy than most of the other songs in the game. Even though all of the stage themes in this game are good, the castle stage themes tend to be on the bottom end of this list, not by any fault of their own, but because the Robot Master stage themes are all completely unique, and therefore they are more attention-grabbing and memorable in my opinion. A very good atmospheric track for a relatively relaxed stage of the game. It sounds way more intimidating than the previous castle stage themes. This one just makes it sound like you're going on an epic adventure. It makes you feel awesome when you're playing through it. This one does the same thing, but the level design makes it feel even cooler because you go through a desert before falling into ruins. This one is extremely catchy and fun to listen to. I don't exactly know how to describe it, but the submarine-like, yeah, that's the best I can come up with. The submarine-like noises used for it make it really memorable, too. When you take into consideration that Mega Man, Dustman, and all of the other enemies you fight other than Wily in these games are robots, I think having a junkyard be his stage, and then giving it a really spooky theme, was the perfect match. A very fast-paced and stressful song for a very fast-paced and stressful level. This one is noticeably more relaxed than the other castle themes, and it's a nice change of pace. Although I wonder if the fact that it is so relaxing has something to deal with the fact that you can just completely glitch out the first level that has this song.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
Yeah, I already told you guys that this is my favorite song in the game. The song that plays when you get a weapon is very upbeat and makes you feel more powerful. A touch that I really like is the fact that the Wily capsule, which is the final boss of the game, has a completely different song than the other bosses, really emphasizing the fact that he's the real deal. This is the final boss. Plus, the music being so frantic when you fight him fits, not only because of the fight, but because of the fact that none of the previous Mega Man games had the Wily capsule, so it'll catch many players off guard. The music for the other bosses is still really good. I especially like how at the beginning it builds up suspense, which syncs perfectly with when the boss's health bars fill up. It's complemented by how brutal the bosses are in this game. Except Toadman.
Also, oh my god, it's Toadman and I died to Toadman. I died to Toadman. Oh my god. My Mega Man career is over. No one will ever listen to me again. Wow, that was embarrassing. I agree.